This video is brought to you by Alienware, featuring Intel Core i7 processors. Start gaming.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a step back and have a look at a weapon that most likely got overlooked by the majority of the player base when the game launched. In Battlefield 3, the M16A3 was the most popular assault rifle, but in Battlefield 4 we were only given the A4 variant, the burst fire variant. All the footage in today's video was recorded on my brand new Alienware 15 gaming laptop, which I'm really enjoying using at the moment, which was given to me by Alienware. If you're interested in learning more, check the description where there's a link for more details, and in the next few days I'll post a review of the laptop as well, so stay tuned for that. But back to Battlefield 4. As I said, this is sort of a second child, really, in the M16 family, at least in video games. The fully auto A3 is much more popular among Battlefielders simply because it's fully auto. The A4 variant is actually the one preferred and used by many national military units around the world, as the A3 was developed around the same time as the older A2 model. In-game, the M16A4 is locked into the Assault class. As you'd expect, it is an assault rifle, and statistically, it is a very, very good weapon indeed. For example, it's only second to the AUG A3 in its muzzle velocity. It's got an insanely fast short reload of just 1.8 seconds, which really is helping you out in those close quarter situations, and has great accuracy due to the burst fire nature of the gun. But then ask yourself, why, if the gun is likely one of the most accurate rifles in the game, not more popular? Well, it's because it's a burst fire weapon. That's why. Most people like the opportunity to burst fire their weapons during combat, which would make the A4 a great candidate here. But most of the time, our bursts aren't restricted to just 3 rounds, which is all the M16A4 can offer you. Depending on the distance and range of the target, sometimes you want to burst a little bit more than just 3 bullets, and so in that respect, the M16A4 is completely useless to most people. Some won't even consider using it, and that makes it all the more attractive, if you're willing to put the time in. The less people there are using a gun, the higher the chance you have of creating a game style that someone cannot easily read and defeat. But how do you get the best out of the M16A4? It's already a very good rifle anyway, but is there any way to make it any better? Well, you need to learn how to control the burst fire that the weapon actually offers. Tapping as fast as you can is not going to work. You'll end up jamming the weapon and then put yourself at a disadvantage in the gunfight. If you can tally the bursts in a nice rhythm, taking into account the distance of the target and the rate of fire of the weapon, and it'll click with you. This is the reason most people leave the burst fire weapons behind. They take too long to master over a fully automatic weapon like the Ace-23, which is already very popular in the game. But as I said, because there are less people using these weapons, you'll likely be playing in a style that somebody doesn't expect to come across. On top of learning that burst fire pattern, there are a few attachments I'd suggest adding to the M16 to make it even more effective and accurate in battle. Start with the red dot sight of your choice. Mine's the Cobra, as you'll be likely using this thing in close to medium range. There's no need for the 4x optic here. I know a lot of people are fond of the Coyote sight, which doesn't have a lot of bezel around it and gives you the widest view available of any of the sights in the game, but I'm not really sure if I like it all that much. The red dot in the middle covers some of the obstacles that I'm trying to shoot, and therefore the Cobra is a little bit better. Plus you've got the horizontal lines on the Cobra, so when it does recoil, you can kind of account for it a little bit easier. In terms of barrel attachments, I'm running the muzzle brake here. And yes, I know this video is all about creating the most accurate rifle, and the muzzle brake does decrease the accuracy of shots fired at the expense of reducing your vertical recoil, but because this is a burst fire weapon, after each burst is fired, the weapon resets. Your accuracy resets, recoil resets, the whole lot. So the decrease in accuracy is gone within half a second, so there's no real need to worry about it. On top of that, I'd say a laser sight is always helpful. Pick off some of those pesky dancing recons who pop up out of nowhere to surprise you. And the angle grip to help reduce the recoil multiplier that affects the third bullet of burst fire weapons. Do that and you'll be popping the skulls of your enemy in absolutely no time. I really enjoyed using the M16A4 today. I don't really know what made me go and do it, but none of the other rifles were really jumping out to me in the menu, so I just thought I'd give it a go, and I've worked out something that's really good for me. I think it's an absolutely great rifle if you're playing something like Rush and you're moving towards an objective, because you can get some really good medium to long range kills with this thing, because the recoil values are just so low. But you do have to learn about burst firing it. Don't try and tap too fast, just get into a nice rhythm and you'll be getting the kills that you so desperately want. So there you have it, perhaps the most accurate rifle setup in Battlefield 4. Give it a try, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you very much to Alienware for sponsoring today's video. As I mentioned, there are links in the description to learn more about the laptop used to capture the footage, and that review will be coming up later this week. Thanks very much for watching. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. But until next time, my name is Westy, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.